Hey babe, I can't believe I'm finally saying this, but it's time you knew just how much your age is being talked about. It's a bit surprising, I know, and it's not what you'd expect or even what you might want to hear, but it's a conversation that keeps resurfacing. It isn't something I've heard just once or twice. It has come up again and again, almost as though people can't help but bring it up whenever they get a chance. Sometimes it's in hushed whispers at gatherings, and other times it's through random comments that people slip into conversation, as if testing the waters to see how I'll respond. I've picked up on the subtle signs, the little sidelong glances people think go unnoticed. It's strange, really, how consistent those looks can be. They are small cues, barely noticeable, yet they always seem loaded with meaning. Every time I see one of those glances, it feels like they're trying to measure, compare, or judge something they can't quite understand. And the topic of your age lingers there like a faint echo. Then there are the remarks, the carefully chosen phrases people let slip now and then. They aren't often direct or outright, but there's definitely a hint, a nudge, that dances around the subject. They don't come right out and say, it's your age, but the implication is unavoidable. The words tiptoe around it. How long can this last? Or, that's interesting. Or, you're both in such different places in life. As if that's a barrier we simply can't overcome. It's like there's this unspoken question or observation that's too juicy for them to let go. Believe me, it isn't out of genuine concern. If it were purely concern, I think the tone would be softer, more curious than critical. Genuine concern has a warmth to it, a sense of empathy and genuine care. But what I've been hearing carries a different weight, a deeper undercurrent. It's as though there's an odd mix of judgment, fascination, and maybe even jealousy all rolled into one. And once you notice that combination, it's impossible to unsee it. I tried to keep all this under wraps, to brush it off and pretend none of it mattered. I didn't want you to feel self-conscious or to let other people's opinions interfere with how you see yourself or us. For a while, I thought ignoring it might make it disappear. But it hasn't. The more I hear it, the more often I see those glances, the harder it is to stay silent. Eventually, I realized that staying quiet only makes it feel heavier, like a secret that's growing in the shadows. So here I am, ready to pull back the curtain and share everything with you. Are you ready, my love? I know this might be a lot to take in. It's not easy to realize that people are looking at you, at us, and making a million assumptions or judgments that have little to do with the truth. But I can't keep this from you any longer. You deserve the whole picture, and it's only fair that you understand the reality of what's being said, even if it's uncomfortable. The people around me, those I've known for ages, people who claim they know me inside and out, can't seem to wrap their heads around our connection. They simply don't get it. They can't understand how we fit together or how something as deep and profound as our bond could be real. To them, it just doesn't add up that someone as radiant and full of life as you could be that age. They've bought into a rigid idea about what age is supposed to mean, as if it dictates how one should act, who one should love, or how one should move through the world. They don't see the brilliance I see in you, the fire in your spirit, the energy you bring into every room you enter. They're missing out on how much you inspire me every single day. They don't grasp how your presence can lift a mood, breathe life into a plan, or spark an idea that blossoms into something amazing. And because they don't see that, they don't recognize that you and I have a real future together. They doubt the possibility that our connection can deepen, evolve, and last because they're stuck on one simple fact: your age. They're more concerned about the number than the person you are, and it keeps them from accepting or even considering that what we share is genuine. It's strange how people cling to conventional stories of love and connection. They have a script in their minds about how relationships should look, how old each partner should be, how they should meet, and how they should progress. The idea that two people could find real happiness in a way that defies the usual narrative makes them uncomfortable. It's as if our story doesn't fit neatly into the box they've constructed, and that unsettles them. They hold on to these strict, fixed ideas about what constitutes a proper partnership and cling to them for dear life. Love, in my view, was never about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about trust, respect, understanding, and above all, a profound connection that doesn't always make sense on paper. That connection can exist between two souls who might differ in any number of ways, age included. But that difference can be an incredibly enriching force, offering fresh perspectives, new experiences, and more ways to grow. Age, after all, is just one facet of a person's identity. But there's a particular aspect of this conversation that keeps coming up. People seem to fixate on a specific point when it comes to you. It's like they're circling around one concern or belief that they think is a deal breaker. In private, they talk about it among themselves. They'd never bring it up to your face. They choose their words carefully around us, but it's clear they think this is a huge deal. They worry that your age is going to hold us back in the long run, that it's somehow an obstacle that will prevent us from reaching the future we dream about. They've convinced themselves that it's a barrier, something that's inevitably going to stand between us when we want to build a life that looks a certain way. They almost expect that with time, your age will overshadow everything we're building together, that eventually it will be the defining force that pulls us apart. It's almost as if they're waiting for some downfall poised to say, I told you so. They can't imagine a reality where your age isn't a limitation, where instead it could be just another color on the canvas of our story. They see it purely in negative terms, a source of potential conflict, difficulty, or misunderstanding. They don't realize that you have so much left to accomplish, so many new chapters to write, and so much energy and passion fueling you every day. They're oblivious to the fact that you're just getting started. They can't begin to fathom the heights you're capable of reaching or the depth of your determination. In their eyes, you've already peaked, when in fact you're still on the ascent. And as for our future, it's not just possible. It's vibrant and absolutely within reach, closer and brighter than they could ever imagine. Sure, there might be challenges, but every relationship has them. The question is whether two people are committed enough to work through them to adapt and to keep choosing each other day after day. I believe in us wholeheartedly. I believe in our resilience, our ability to tackle whatever comes our way, and our shared vision of what we want our life to be. Where others see obstacles, I see opportunities for growth. Where they see limitations, I see places where we can break boundaries and redefine what's possible. We're not beholden to anyone else's vision of what is or isn't normal. We're writing our own story, and that's exactly how it should be. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about your finances. This part of your life is calling for collaboration and teamwork. I know it might feel daunting to bring other people into something as personal as your financial world. Money has a way of feeling like the most private part of our lives. But if you've been reluctant to open up to the idea of working with others, now is a really good time to rethink that. Embracing new partnerships can be a surprisingly powerful way to reach your goals. By pooling ideas, resources, and enthusiasm with like-minded individuals, you can accomplish so much more than you would on your own. It's amazing to see what happens when people join forces to tackle a common objective. New insights emerge, creative solutions surface, and opportunities you never even considered suddenly come into view. Working alongside someone else who shares similar financial dreams or vision can spark possibilities you might have missed if you stayed isolated. Another person might bring perspectives, strategies, or connections that prove crucial to moving forward. Sometimes, it's simply the presence of another mind, a second viewpoint, that helps push past the sticking points or blind spots in your own thinking. For instance, if you've been struggling with a certain aspect of investing or budgeting, a friend who's more experienced in that arena could show you a shortcut or a more efficient approach that accelerates your progress. For some people, there's already someone in their life who's quietly eager to help them build a more solid financial foundation. Maybe it's a close friend who's always been good with numbers, or a partner who believes in your potential. It could even be a mentor, someone who successfully walked a similar path and now wants to guide you. This person sees not just where you are, but where you could be, and they're willing to invest time, knowledge, or resources to help you bring your plans to life. Together, you can build something that feels secure, practical, and still brimming with potential for growth. When you collaborate with someone who believes in your vision, it provides a sense of stability and confidence. You don't have to do it all alone, carrying the weight of every decision by yourself. And the magic of combining forces is that your collective impact can be greater than the sum of your individual contributions. Multiple minds working toward a shared goal often arrive at better outcomes than any single person could achieve solo. That's why embracing this chance to grow and learn alongside others can be so transformative. By letting down your guard, you open yourself up to a whole new range of possibilities, both in terms of practical financial strategies and the emotional support that comes from having a trustworthy ally. This kind of collaboration doesn't diminish your independence or achievements. It enhances them, offering you a stronger platform from which to reach even greater heights. Keep in mind that all the outside chatter, those whispers about your age, those subtle glances, could easily extend into people's assumptions about your financial capabilities or your ability to move forward in life. If there are doubts circling about whether your age might somehow limit you in love or in personal endeavors, the same people might question your financial drive or your ambition. Yet, here you are, exploring ways to strengthen your financial future and broaden your horizons, regardless of any skeptical voices.